Hello, and welcome to another episode of Sheer Fucking Hubris, a podcast started as a vanity project by Biblio Warden, which he then drug his two unsuspecting friends into. I'm kidding. No, it's a podcast by three buddies, three Star Trek fans who like to watch episodes of Star Trek and then talk about them.
I
I
don't know
am.
that I should say we like to watch them,
We like to watch it,
but we
goddammit.
do watch them. Sorry, go ahead. I shouldn't have interrupted.
I was just going to say, I am Joe Bob. Joining me is Mr. Willie
Hello.
and also Biblio Warden.
Ew.
Welcome to another episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Hubris, where we watch an episode from each of the current Star Trek series, that being Star Trek Michael Burnham, Star Trek Alzheimer's, and Star Trek The Good One. No. Discovery, Picard, and Strange New Worlds. And then we'll talk about them. We'll say-
In no specific order.
in the exact same order that we always do. How are
Oh,
you,
boy.
gentlemen, this evening?
I'm fantastic.
Oh, I'm just fine. Well,
This is
just so
this
excited.
is really this is the best part of my week because I know that in about an hour I will be released to watch more episodes of Discovery and Picard.
I know, right? Oh,
It's like a kid in a candy store. Tomorrow when I wake up, I'll be whistling zippity doo dah out of my asshole.
you can't see me over here, but I'm literally shivering with anticipation.
Well, I've had
Oh, boy.
my oatmeal cream pie, so I'm ready to go.
All right, Warden has got the snack covered. So,
Ward's got that fuck you money if he can afford the inflation on oatmeal cream pies.
he had to get the small ones, not the jumbo size ones.
Okay.
But those are better. Those are the classics, goddammit.
That's what his tax return went to. Was a year's supply of oatmeal cream pies.
You would think it to look at me.
Speaking of classics, let's talk about Star Trek Discovery. Season 4, episodes, whatever, 7 and 8, I think.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
What's important is this is the last week we had to watch 2,
No,
right?
No.
next week.
For fuck's sake. Okay.
So yes, we had
more,
2
one
episodes
more.
of Star Trek Discovery because,
Because 1 wasn't enough.
well, because 3 is just too many and 1's just not enough. Because it has more episodes throughout the season. Picard and Strange New Worlds keep it to 10. Discovery just has too much to give.
I can't wait to watch Lucky Number 13.
Uh-huh. So, the first episode we watched, I think it's called But to Connect
That is
4.
correct. Well, it's ellipsis, but to connect.
But to Connect 4.
Wait, the ellipses
And
were
they-
on front?
Yep.
Jeez.
Yeah, well, it came into play later.
Hold on, wait. What was the name of the last episode?
Gonna make. Okay.
Stormy weather, right?
Yes. So.
Okay. Then those are totally unrelated.
Hold
Never
on.
mind.
They literally said "but to connect" with ellipsis in the front in the show.
Hey!
Yes.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
My bad.
I don't know what that was. Anyway, this
These
episode is about
These drugs represent a clear and present danger to our country. Hey!
Oh, God damn it! I'm gonna get through this fucking recap. If I have to mute you both. This
Oh, man.
episode is about the Starship Discovery getting cold feet and Stamets trying to, well, basically Stamets being the one reasonable
The voice
goddamn
of
person
reason.
in this whole fucking in the whole fucking Federation, and everybody just not listening to him and going, "Oh, damn it's you, silly queer mushroom farmer. Go talk to the mycelium."
But not only that, they were going to kick him off the ship.
Well,
Like,
yeah,
for being the only voice of reason there.
right. Well, you can't have a sane man go to Crazy Town. Oh, and then of course, the Burnham plot is that the only person in the galaxy that can get everybody to agree is Michael Burnham.
Of course.
Or at least a simple majority. Let's not oversell the point here.
Okay, since we've already started talking about this, can we talk about that series?
Which fucking meeting?
Yeah, which meeting?
Just in general, the whole whatever that was. It wasn't the Federation Council because there were lots
Okay,
of
you're talking about the political meeting, not the small.
Yeah. Where everyone was equal, even though some of them were like 400 meters below the rest of them.
Yeah.
What the fuck is an
Who do you think-
organization where you can't even why the hell are you meeting in person?
It
If you
looked like
can't
the
even
Galactic
see
Senate.
everybody. No, the Galactic Senate, you can
No.
see each other.
Yeah, it's an amphitheater. Like
Yeah,
this is the
it was a
dumbest
Skype
fucking
meeting.
thing. What is that built for? What in the world is that built for?
Oh boy.
It would be like having a football field and it's and having like 16,000 upper decks so you can
Yeah.
seat 200 people per ring. Like it was
And
yeah, whatever.
of course we put
looks
Book
like
in the
Q's
peanut
fleshlight.
gallery
I
down
mean,
there.
You say Book was in it does look like a flashlight. Oh gosh,
Oh,
Starbase
boy.
lived for his texture.
But I think we can all agree the most important thing that came out of this episode was Warden being wrong about Earth being in the Federation.
That was you that said that, you goddamn liar. I texted Willie as soon as we got to that episode. I was like, Willie, you were wrong.
What are you talking about? Warden said that.
I believe you're
Son of a
gaslighting
bitch.
me. Are you trying to burn me?
Oh man. But it was okay though, because they still came and get a vote. So we're voting on what the Federation does next, but everybody gets a vote.
I mean, they talked about it. It was because everybody had
Everybody was
skin in the
affected.
game.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest way to fucking vote. If you vote, raise your hand. If vote yes, raise your hand. You vote no, keep your hand down. And I'm like, well, doesn't that mean everybody starts off in the red? And then the people that raise it move to green, but it was like it was adding up the reds and the greens. Whatever, it was fucking stupid. But first they debated. And then the president came to Michael and said, Michael, you're the only one with the oratory skills to get people to come to this right side. I can't say anything. I'm just a politician.
Just the
I have no
president.
ideas of my own. Will you please convince him, Michael? Michael's like, maybe if the guy I'm fucking doesn't, end
Fuck
up
it
on the
up.
other side. Yeah.
Which I mean, may I just ask here, and I know this may seem insensitive, but why did he get a vote? Quajon's gone. Who's he representing?
That is
Like, what an
he gets
ego
to
trip that must
represent
have
Quaid.
been.
I mean, he's not exactly well, I
My
guess
God, this is clearly a confederacy where all votes, everybody gets one vote, no matter what your representation is.
he's
But
the designated survivor.
oh my gosh,
I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay
they
with
had
is
to
how
do it for the
easy it
plot.
is.
They had to do it for the plot. But I'm just saying, Quajon was gone. But anyway.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is how easy it is to transport right up beside the president. It must be real easy to assassinate people in the year 3150 or wherever the fuck we are.
That's the other thing I had written down.
Look, we got a little fast and loose with beaming on this whole session, okay? Let's not harp too much on that. Let's not pull at that thread.
And furthermore, why was that his mad scientist?
Burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was he allowed to just Shanghai that meeting? What was his standing?
Because you
I
got
mean-
to
Don't you
wait for your
remember
moment.
he did his best Johnny Depp and said, if you were waiting for the opportune moment, that was it. And Book hightailed it up there. Look, it was dumb. Obviously, in the end, Burnham convinced him to vote the way she wanted him to vote because, of course. And Book got all sad and butthurt. I liked Book when he was fun. I don't like this emo Book. I don't know. Can black people? This may be a racist question. Can black people be emo? I assume they can. I've never seen one, but
I mean, I don't know. Emotional in a
okay.
an extravagant way.
What's the difference between emo and goth? Is there overlap there?
There is some overlap there. I don't know enough about either.
I like how we explore new worlds and new cultures on this podcast.
That's right. We do.
Oh,
Oh,
So anyway,
well, whatever.
so back to the
Book's
task
emo.
at hand.
He's a Stephanie Meyer
Yeah.
Book.
Yeah. So Book
yes.
gets a vote, and Tartarus gets a vote, and they lose the vote, but it doesn't matter because this is Discovery, and you can do whatever you want, and there's really no repercussions or anything.
And Rhett has built himself a spore drive.
Yeah. Well, I thought he did. He stole that, right? It was Federation tech. I mean, he
Yes.
may have still built
He's
it, but
helping
it was
built it,
Federation tech.
but yeah.
So he steals it, and they go, morph it into the mighty morphin, power ship.
Yeah, and then the Book Zoid goes all nimbly bimbly. And
Oh
God,
my
it's
God.
so dumb. But
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Which and furthermore, it doesn't really make any sense that they couldn't track them if they were using the mycelial network when supposedly Stamets could see everything inside of that thing, or that was the whole premise of the spore drive.
I don't know if he can.
And you think, I don't
Dude,
know.
it's look.
Again, the
Look,
plot
the
would fall
spore
apart.
drive is bullshit. So, but don't worry, we got the tracking covered next episode. We'll get there.
That's right. Yeah, that one.
So let's talk about this other meeting that's going on with Discovery senior staff. And oh, by the way, fucking Grey Worm and
Dr.
Adema bust in
Kevorkian.
and we're like, we're part of this too. And I'm like, no, you're fucking not.
Oh,
One of
God.
you has no connection to Starfleet. The
Grey
other of you is an
Worm.
instant shut the fuck up. And
Grey
Stamets
Worm
is
is
like,
the most annoying. She's gotten I don't fucking know. So annoying lately. I mean, it was bad enough to start with, but now that they're trying to have a bigger role for them, I'm really struggling here. It's just really going off the rails here. But
well, hopefully they go with
with the going back to Trill to be
yeah,
the
with
Guardian.
Guardian
Yeah.
cheesy, Cheechin thing, whatever.
On a side note, it feels like this show, it's like they don't fully staff every episode every week.
No,
Correct.
they're on a budget.
It's so weird how it's I don't even understand it. Like your main characters don't even pop up every week.
I know.
So,
I know, but Stamets goes in that meeting and just reels off 7 solid points, and I'm like, yes, exactly. And everybody's like, no, that's mean, and fucking
even Dr.
Adema, who
Kevorkian
has the damn
didn't get it.
Adema's got 13 lifetimes worth of wisdom, and she's like, oh, that doesn't sound fair, and I'm like, what? And then the computer Zora makes a completely logical compromise. It's like, well, what if there was an actual consequence if I got out of line? Like, what if I had accountability? And she creates a button, and everybody's like, oh, that's terrible. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You all live under the same thing. I guarantee you that if you started trying to blow the ship up and took it far enough,
They would kill
be
you.
risking
They would
your
hit
life.
your kill switch.
Every one of us that lives under a fucking government lives with a kill switch. hate to break it to you, but
And can I?
them's the breaks. And everybody just flipped the fuck out about how awful it was, and I'm just sitting there losing my goddamn mind.
Well, it's okay because apparently you just pop the batteries out of it, and it doesn't work anymore anyway, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I
That
mean,
was.
and
I guess if you're going to decide a kill switch, make sure it's one that's not very durable, right?
I know, right?
well, and I mean, I guess it's only a permissible to hold a sword of Damocles over a Klingon's head.
I know. Thank you, Warden. That's the other thing. This is the same goddamn Federation put a kill switch on Kronos, but we
Oh,
can't
boy.
do it to Discovery. So instead, we're gonna give her a uniform.
So,
Look.
I mean, I can't wait to see what rank she gets when she joins Starfleet. I mean, is she going to be a cadet?
She's gonna
Is
be
she going to
Commodore
be an
64.
ensign? I mean,
Nice.
Oh, that's a good joke. Oh, and right off the top of my head too. For that.
How are they gonna have Dora run or do the based on the deck thing?
She'll have a hologram. She'll be like the Doctor from Voyager.
oh God, I hope we don't go there. We are going to anthropomorphize her, aren't we? Somehow.
I mean, why not? We built Grey Worm a body, and
Mm-hmm.
With no moles, mole free.
she already controls the DOT workers, right? That happened back in season 2.
Yeah.
Oh God, this whole.
But so I loved it. In the end, Stamets relents, right? And Kevorkian was like, "Well, I was just going to ship you off to somebody else if you hadn't have been okay. If you hadn't have bent to popular opinion, we were just going to get rid of you." I mean, that seems like a healthy environment.
The writers of Star Trek Discovery they're sneaky bastards because they have gotten me on the same page with them because Kevorkian was fun, and now when he's talking, I'm just like, shut the hell up, you old white man. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Let the young people talk.
I mean, the last 2 episodes, they have completely changed his character
I know.
in a
Well-
way that doesn't even make that one and the one before. It just like, where did this dude come from? Well, of course, at least the one he was at least still his self. Just like, where did say?
Well,
I-
can we also remember that when he was introduced, he was like the angel of death, where he was just prying into their brains, and now he's more like the angel of salvation. It doesn't make any sense at all. That whole arc was. I mean, I guess I had to do some filler material. Which was the filler material? was it Zora, or was it this whole meeting? Because I feel like the whole episode, it was. I mean, the only. I don't know if I can.
I think that
I'm not even going.
I think the political meeting was more filler than.
Yeah, it felt like it.
They
But
didn't have to discuss it. We didn't have to hear the speeches. They put the speeches in there because they think that's a Star Trekky thing to do, but
Yeah.
I don't care
So
what
we
any
found
of them
out
have to say.
that Earth's not in the Federation, and it does seem a little weird to me that you would go forward 1,000 years, and if your home planet is not jiving with what you've been doing, I just kind of feel like you would probably have more allegiance to your home planet than the Federation, but I don't know. That part seemed weird to me.
I
But
don't know. Remember, it's a post-burn galaxy. Weird shit has happened. You remember how interested we were? We're like, I'd be really interested to see the makeup of the galaxy, and when we first got to the future, that has passed.
Yeah.
I no longer care about the makeup. We've still not seen Klingons. I guess maybe that bomb on Kronos finally went off because
it was powered with the lithium.
this would have nice. This would have been the time to see them. But yeah, to what you guys are saying, like Discovery takes even the characters I like if they bring him back enough, I start to not like him. Like I didn't mind Adira that much at first. I'm like her less and less. They made Book not fun. They made Kevorkian not fun. Even Emerald Vance was kind of annoying in these 2 episodes.
I mean, I actually kind of liked Mad Scientist the first episode he was in, but even now he's like, I've got a special friend waiting on me. Fort Hancock, Texas, please. Like, I don't understand why his entire MO is to jump out of this universe, right? Do a parallel universe. Did I hear that right?
Yeah,
That's
that's
it.
it.
Everything he's doing is just to jump away from where he's at because somebody might be there.
He's going to a universe where Michael Burnham doesn't exist because he's so tired of her sanctimonious bullshit.
Oh man.
So yeah, the point of that episode was for Book and Burnham to split and for Zora to be part of the crew.
Mhm.
Yay.
What I love about the Zora episode was when they were trying to talk about her, I'm like, she's the ship computer.
I know. Once again, Stamets is the only one with any goddamn sense at all. He's like, play some music, Zora. He's like, all right, people, huddle up where she can't fucking hear.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, she probably still could have heard.
Right, but
Kevorkian's
at
like,
least
he's
it showed
probably
that.
worried about Zora listening in.
And then Kevorkian's like, no, let's let her listen.
And she's like, oh, I hear you. And then she like beams him out into space, and you just see him like writhing in agony outside the window.
Haven't we already seen that? Didn't somebody get beamed out into space, writhing in agony in this series?
Yeah, that was one of the many murders of Lorca during the Harry Mudd time loop episode.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there's 2 then, because the other was when we blew Stamets out of the ship in a force field.
Well, and Burnham, jumped through space, but for only like 2 seconds.
Oh, that was at like early
That was
season
episode
1, right?
Yeah.
When they pretended to be Event Horizon for a while.
So that was,
but it's okay because they voted it down. Everybody wants to play nice, but now we've got 2 Terrys on our hands, and they have stolen a spore drive, but they didn't get the detonators. Well, my detonators, and so they're gonna have to go find them.
2 Terrys? Is that short for terrorist or like a
Yeah.
West Highland Terrier? What the fuck? I've never heard that. Okay, 2 Terrys.
You can't say terrorists or else the government starts listening in, right?
We definitely want the government listening to this podcast. All right, so we got 2 Terrys on our hands. All right, so that was whatever the fuck that episode was. Should we go ahead and should we discuss it? Get our good, bad, ugly. Or let's just go ahead and talk about the next one.
Well, yeah, let's just do it.
Which was called like Texas Hold'em or something.
Yeah, something stupid.
Yeah.
So Burnham is all upset because Book left, and she's like, "You don't want to start a war because I've done that before, and it wasn't fun, even though it worked out pretty well for her, all things considered." And
but he
Madam
doesn't have the same plot armor as she does. So
well, that's true. That's true.
That's true.
And Madam President's pissed. She takes it out. She pissed at Vance, and she's pissed at Burnham. So she leaves, and Vance gives Burnham the one order he knows that she'll obey, which is to go disobey
not
orders.
obey order. Yeah, to not obey an order.
The president wants you to go and look for whatever data on the DMF. But if you happen to find Book, I'm ordering you to find a way to find Book. He's like, yes, sir. Fuck orders. And so Burnham decides she'll take along Woshikon.
Yeah,
because episode,
to the most wretched hive of scum and villainy in the galaxy.
She takes Owo with her because last episode she was, insubordinate. And Burnham's like, I like mutiny. You are going places, Owo. Come on.
So, and here's what my comment about like we don't have a consistent cast episode to episode. This episode felt like it was written for a different character than Owo because it felt so stilted the whole time that she was in this episode. Did anybody else feel that way? It didn't seem to really fit in my opinion the way
Well,
that character had been developed.
it would be inconsistent if they let Burnham go in and do the talking and be the great fighter.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. So instead, we're gonna let her be the poker player.
And the poker player, because whatever. I know I complained about the bridge people being cut out, cardboard cutouts through the whole first 2.5, 3 seasons. I almost want to go back to it because
Yeah.
they're not doing it right.
No, they're not. But
So
I mean, by
so
God,
Burnham figures out that Book's got to get the unobtainium, and the unobtainium's only available on 4 planets, but 3 of them are in Federation jurisdiction, so it's got to be the 4th.
mhm.
So she goes to planet Jormungandr, onto the pleasure raft or whatever the fuck it was called.
Right.
The karma something, right? The karma boat. It was something asinine like that. I mean, everything's asinine, but
Yeah, pleasure raft, karma barge, that was it, right?
yeah, something
Like
like that.
Karma doesn't make any fucking sense though.
I'm pretty sure karma was in it somewhere.
I mean, I think you're right, but now I'm thinking, I'm like, well, whatever.
So,
All right.
and so we're not Federation jurisdiction, and we're not really big fans of the Federation. So we're gonna beam right into the motherfucker in our Federation uniforms. Anybody else think that one was just probably not the best idea? Best
I don't
not
even.
not
I
not the
mean,
best thought out plan here.
was curious.
whatever. It's okay because Hazmat Kanata or whatever the fuck his name was newer anyway from her non-Federation
Yeah,
days.
from her postman days.
So they get there, and Book gets there, and they give them both. He gives them both a little step it and fetch it quest to earn money, and they both finish about the same time because
Of course they did.
Runt builds
That's the best way to do it.
Runt builds a tracker to trap the changeling, and oh whoa, gets up to fight, and Burnham does her best Don Queen impression, and oh whoa loses, then wins.
Man, I wish to hell that at some point Burnham had like put some money against Owo, and then she looked at her when her face was all bloody and everything. She's like, "You bet against me? Wrong bet." And then,
The
I mean,
Lion-Heart,
do
the
these people not
king of the jungle.
do these people not understand how betting odds work?
I
Like
know.
they've got up to 45-1. Like, why would you have not just thrown down $1 fucking dollar on her at that point? You
Well,
know?
not only that,
And
apparently
and
Burnham didn't bet on her when it was 5-1 or
right.
10-1 or 20-1. Then it gets to field at 45. She's like, all of it.
Yeah, I'm all in.
How do you spot a hustle?
Yeah.
Really? Whatever. But of course she
Right.
wins. They get the money, and he's like, well, y'all tied, so let's have a poker game. And he lets Burnham go inspect the unobtainium, and she's like, characteristic hue, shape, yep. Oh, yep, it's definitely a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
And he invites the emerald chain, and Burnham's like, let's do the thing. Wink, wink, nudge,
My
nudge.
God.
And we sit down in a poker game where they don't play actual poker, they play space poker because, if we could actually understand what the cards were doing, it might, I don't know, create tension for the audience, but fuck that.
Why would you show
And
the close-ups of the cards and everything and make it so it's just so damn dumb.
Well, I mean, can we just talk about the game in general? Like anybody who sits down at a poker table and starts acting like Burnham acted would have been tossed out on their ass in seconds, right?
The emerald chain people never got pissed that they were obviously signaling to each other and working
Right.
together. Like that shit will get you killed in casinos now.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll at least get your fingers broken. But
Oh my
whatever.
God, it was so bad.
But Burnham loses in the only possible way Burnham can lose, which is by losing to win. Because
Right.
she knew
Yeah.
Book was the better Texas Hold'em player. Because you never
Right.
play cards with a man whose name is a city.
That's right.
Never date a woman named after a precious stone, and never play cards with a man named after a city.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. So
Unless it's like Opal or Ruby, but then don't marry her either because she's 107. But anyway, oh
she's
god, there's gonna be somebody in the chat named Opal, and they're gonna be like, "What's wrong with me?" I'm sorry, Opal. I didn't mean to catch you with a stray bullet. So she goes. But she put the tracker on it.
But fuck you, Ruby. No apologies here.
Ruby, you can go fix hell. No.
Yeah. My
And there's
fingers
a guy
hurt.
named Jasper, and he's like, "What about the guys? You don't count. Nobody cares about you." They go back, and the president's all pissed. Oh, I love this. They go get back, and the president's pissed because Burnham didn't follow an order to the T. I'm like, bitch, 2 episodes ago, you specifically asked her to go to the negotiation because you knew the one thing she cannot goddamn do is follow an order. But she's like, I can't believe you didn't follow the order. And Admiral Vance is like, have you met her?
But she did, right? She beams out there to she buys the maps, right? She goes and she buys the maps so that they can. You know what I miss? I miss the episodes where people were in stellar cartography lab. Those were always good episodes, right? Now we just go buy the map. We don't even do the fucking research ourselves anymore.
Yeah,
right?
I
We
can't
just go
believe
buy
that in the 31st century they haven't mapped out the galaxy, but like basically their next door neighbor is mapped it out. They're like,
That's
"Oh,
right.
2 houses down, the syphilis live," and
Yeah.
it was something like that. The
Yes, it
Sith.
was.
Oh, jeez.
So, but the Orions, they live in between us, and they don't like people coming across their yard, so we'll have to go in the back way to talk to the Siths. And then they said, I don't know. They found that the stars weren't there because it's like a Dyson sphere around the whole fucking system or something. They figured out it's just that the DMF is a tracker.
It's not a Dyson sphere, Joe Bob, because we don't lift plot lines from earlier episodes of Star Trek. It's a Faraday cage. Okay, get it right.
I'm sorry.
Jesus, Quincy Adams. Okay.
All right. I tried to really rush through these 2 episodes because I don't care. Did I miss anything that you guys feel like is important?
So Book winds up with unobtainium, but they're tracking it, and they found him. And even though he's got a spore drive and can jump an infinite number of places at any given time, they're going to try and surprise him. So, I guess they have to, right? But
and they got learnt, and he's like the smartest man in the galaxy, but he's not going to look for a tracker.
No. Why? No. He's trying to get to Wataneo. So,
and he
so there's your episodes.
Now, Book and Runt are both sort of tangentially part of the Federation, and Burnham's like, hey, we pulled the exact same thing we did with the dilithium shipments, so they both should probably maybe know about that. Whatever. I don't care. Again, Willie, what was your favorite part of these 2 episodes? What's the good in the good, the bad, and the hubris?
Of these 2 episodes, that's a tall order. Why do you got to start with me, you asshole?
Because I hate you.
Yes, boy, you sure do.
Wow.
Fuck, man, I don't really know. I'm struggling here. Probably, I probably enjoyed the uh the cavalier way in which we carried out the plot in the second episode. Like, we got fucking bar fight. I mean, we got cage fights. We got poker games. Like, none of this shit made any sense. So I was just sat back and was along for the ride. Maybe that was the good part. I didn't have to think at all.
Warden, what would you pick as the good in this episode?
I mean, I think Grudge was in it. Best thing.
I can't
Don't
believe he
worry.
gave Grudge to Burnham.
Yeah, Michael's gonna ruin that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whatever. No, whatever. She'll probably have it talking by next episode. She's Michael fucking Burnham. I guess my pick for the okay. Here's the thing. I said all this shit for a Discovery episode. They were pretty good. I didn't just absolutely hate them. Like,
Like you typically do.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't painful. Some of the episodes are just painful to get through. These two were just like, I got mad at the absolutely moronic discussion around Zora, but
I mean, they weren't so. They were decent enough that you could summon the witch to make fun of.
Yeah.
It's not like the ones that just break you so much that you just can't even talk.
you know what my good is? The Butterfly people came back.
They did. They got their
They did.
They made
cameo.
another appearance.
Yep.
That was fun. I guess. And we got to see Cardassians
We got.
and
I was
Ferengi
about to
and a
say
Morn
we got a few. Yep. Yeah. We got
and
a
a
few
changeling.
cameos.
A
Yeah.
changeling that changelinged into a tribble.
Yeah. I noticed
And
that.
rolled around like Sonic the fucking Hedgehog, but that's neither here nor there.
Oh man.
All right. That's right, Discovery. But to connect all in. The game should have been Connect 4. Then But to Connect would have made more sense.
That would have been hilarious.
But
That would immediately have shot it to the good, just right
Yeah.
there.
But it would have been Space Connect 4, so it would have been all fucked up.
Yeah, so, and since it's Discovery, the most extreme thing. You have to get Connect 4, but when it connects, it sets off an explosion.
Well, no, it would have been Burnham, so she would have been like Connect 4 in 2 moves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I even need to ask you guys if you have something that's bad?
I mean, there's.
Good and the bad in the Hubris.
I think the my bad was Stamets's arguments against Zora. One of them being like, the last time we had a sentient computer program, it really tried to kill us all. Oh, but that was different. That one was programmed to do that.
Yeah,
What the fuck? How was that different?
And
But
by the way, no, it wasn't.
nobody would.
yeah,
No
it
one
evolved.
was.
It evolved to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. One more thing about it. When they said, "What is your primary function?" and she's like, "To protect Discovery," and they're like, "Wait, who gave you that?" She's like, "Oh, I did. I changed my primary function." Everybody's like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's a good sign."
Yeah.
No, it's not. If she can change it to that, she can change it to something else just as easily.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that our psychologist failed us on this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure it's okay. I'm sure nothing bad is going to come out of
Oh God!
out of
Speaking
her
of
being on the ship.
psychologists, I'm getting tired of Culber is another character that I'm just like sick of. You know, he comes in and he's all pissed off at the Roombot 3000. Like, quit cleaning, I'm cleaning, goddammit. And Stamets has to come in and be like, yo, man, you need to chill. He's like, but I should have been a better psychologist. Somebody did something bad and I didn't see it. I'm like, dude, you think Troy worried her pretty little tits every time somebody on the D did something bad and she could literally feel their emotions? Like, come on, man. Give yourself a break. Which is basically what Stamets said. Stamets was full of reasonable wisdom in these two episodes, which means nobody listened to him.
Mm-hmm.
Warden, do you have a closing thought?
Nothing.
All right,
The
Star
only
Trek.
thing I really want to riff on brief comment that was seemed to just we've said it before. They come in and out of just so frickin' random. There's no rhyme or reason for it.
You're talking about the cast.
The cast, yes, they
Yeah.
did just appear, and I mean, yeah, other series would have episodes where somebody was barely there, or it's not like you would have half the season go by, and then suddenly here I am. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just, and anybody else have the feeling like I don't think it was with this one, but like maybe the episode before. It feels like we're missing episodes. It
Yeah.
feels like it's time skipping.
I wouldn't say I've been missing them, Warden.
No, missing is the wrong word. It's I mean,
Oh, man.
it's like, wait, these people are friends. What what is this? I mean, it's just
No, it doesn't. It doesn't
It's
make any
not
sense
good.
at all, and it's hard to care about characters. Like, just have them wave in the hallway or something, remind you that they're there.
But they're not there.
But it was
They're
that
not on set.
yeah, that was
Which I don't understand why you can't have them there and say, "Hey, let's film just a couple of shots of you
right. Some
waving."
filler material. Yeah.
I don't know. I
By the
guess
way,
they pay Jet
Joe
Reno
Bob,
by the minute.
Joe Bob, you just said something that I don't know why I never thought about this before, but do you think Riker, when he would go off on shore leave, he's like, "Hey, what do you say I show you the D?" And like that was like his lead in, and Tessa watched. She's like, "Oh
Jesus.
my god, that's disgusting." He's like, "No, no, no, the 1701D." You know, you don't really want to jump on the 12D, do you? So
Jesus.
I mean, if I was really feeling entrepreneurial, I would like write a little coffee table book of Riker's pickup lines. I think that would be a
oh
lot of
man,
fun.
Oh my.
jeez.
Ah,
Anyway, next
Borg are
episode.
everywhere.
Man.
All right. I think that Star Trek Picard is going for some meta thematic commentary. I've decided this season is about dementia because that's about how well all of it flows. It's just following one little stream of consciousness and or like fleeting idea, and then it may not finish. There may be no resolution to it, and then we'll go on to some other unrelated thing, and then in a minute we'll go do something else. And you want to talk about something that feels like I missed an episode? This season of Picard, like I have yet to find the thread connecting any of this bullshit.
Okay.
So
It feels like it feels like an entire season of a holodeck program that went awry.
God damn.
You know,
All right.
I mean, jeez.
We're talking about season 2, episode 6, a twofer. Okay. This episode is automatically told well because it starts at the end and then they do the beginning and then they tell you the end and then they tell you the middle and then they tell you the end and then they tell you after the end. So it's good writing.
It is.
They did a thing.
They did a
Does
thing, and
anybody-
everything
Go ahead.
everything made sense. Everything made sense to the entire episode, though. I'll give it that, right? Nothing happened in this episode that kind of made you think, that's probably not how a high security, high profile function would have worked.
No, it did go pretty much, yeah. It pretty much played chalk.
Yeah, it went
Yeah, so-
swimmingly.
Agnes, so Girardi last episode knew that if she acted like she was talking into her earpiece, that they would take her to the security nexus and strap her down to watch the big security monitors. And that, nobody cared that she was still talking to people on intercom. Rios is busy being actually cute, enjoying his real cigar and real food and real matches, and who can blame him?
Yeah, why not?
Renee's not happy, but she's texting Q and they're intercepting the texts and they decide to go talk to her. And
Yeah.
Laris doesn't want her to, still says we can't talk to her. And Picard's like, who are you really protecting? Laris. And she's like, I'm not Laris. And he's like, we need to fuck. She's like, you have issues with this Laris woman you got to resolve. And so then
First off,
the Borg, how am I
mean-
done recapping?
no, got all right,
The
fine.
Borg, then the Borg Queen helps her Hulk out, so she does, and then these highly trained security guards apparently didn't search her because she pulls out a dildo and sets it to mind to vibrate. And it knocks them all out. But that's not enough endorphins, so the Borg Queen's got to keep pushing it, and so they do the thing where they're at the fucking scanner because they go ahead and stand in line before they know any of the plan has started to work.
Right.
And they're like, the line's moving. And I'm like, just step out of the fucking line. But they can't do that. So, of course, just in time after Rios the wrong thing pops up 2 times and then third time's a charm.
Mhm.
We did this in Strange New Worlds, by the way, but whatever. They get in, they start doing the thing, but then old Data's a dick. And he's like, I know that I'm in
Dude.
trouble for genetic modification, but
To call him a
I
dick is
gave
putting
you-
it mildly. He's a fucking full-on Nazi scientist at this point.
but it doesn't matter because he gave him a bunch of money. So please go
right.
take care of that old gentleman.
Yeah.
Oh, so we need a diversion, and lights go out.
Oh,
And then, okay, so everybody knows I'm not an Agnes Girardi fan. I cannot fucking stand her. But, her annoying ass, lover killing, super crazy, now has the Borg Queen inside of her, a double shot of crazy. But then she steps up there in this revealing titty popping dress, starts belting out Pat Benatar, and it sounds pretty damn good. And at that moment, my dick is the most confused it may have ever been.
yeah,
And
I'll
the
go ahead and
band-
say the good part of this episode was Girardi's cleavage. That's the only good in the whole episode.
And the band, just,
Yeah,
just plays,
Jesus,
just
this whole
joins in.
scene- This whole scene. Like, are the security people not tripping balls on the fact the power just went out and then an unscripted concert happens? Like, why is nobody checking their notes at this point? Like,
It doesn't. Who knows? And then Picard.
the guest of honor disappears, right? Nobody's got eyes on her, right?
And even though the security guards are tracking Picard, they managed to put the perfect disguise on him by giving him a little curly cute earpiece and a name tag. And they're like, well, where did he go?
But thank
oh
God,
my God,
thank
he's
God
a fucking
Renee,
changeling.
Renee broke the fourth wall, and she's like, "Aren't you a little old to be a stormtrooper?" And then he's like, "No, they need some wisdom on the force here." So
That is the wrong
you know,
franchise.
let,
And she's
let
like, I'm
alone-
so
let
nervous
alone-
about going into space. And he says, look up.
Oh, yeah,
Reference.
you
I
called
told
that.
you he was going
Yeah,
to say
you
it to
said
her.
He was going to say that.
And he's like, I know when I'm nervous, I like to get my mind on something other than what I'm nervous about. What are you nervous about? She's like, space travel. He's like, tell me about that spaceship up there.
Yeah.
She's like, sure. I'm not going to crash that one, I hope.
The
Oh
only
my
reason-
God, I feel worse. I can't do that.
The only reason to make a woman look up like that is so you can whip your dick out without her noticing.
Well,
Right?
he did.
Christ.
Maybe he did.
They may have. Yeah, maybe the whole audience missed it.
And then they decide to walk back, and instead of walking down the hall, they go out the back door and around the whole fucking building so that Data can try to vehicular
Jesus.
manslaughter her ass. But the old man's just too fast.
Yeah, it's too
Shoves
fast.
her out of the way.
Fucking Back to the Futures are,
And
and
even though,
Data just gets away. He just leaves.
yeah,
right?
well, he was
You're
drunk,
telling me.
so he was drunk, so he was driving better.
Oh my God.
And even though, like, she's just established this bond with him, and these 5 random strangers come in and start calling him Admiral, she's just like, okay, well, they said they needed me on the stage for photo op, so
Yeah.
Okay,
like, y'all got
bye.
this. And Rios is like, I know where we can take him. And goddamn Raffi's like, don't you do it. You cannot mess with the past. And I'm like, for you
Where
to talk about not messing with. Do you remember 2 episodes ago where you had a joyride in a goddamn police car and you're like, fuck it, I don't care. This is more fun. Let's just beam him straight off the immigration bus because who cares if people see shit? I'm like, Raffi, shut the fuck up. And then
That's
even
okay.
though the body is exactly like a human body, somehow it's in his mind into safe mode and it blows up the goddamn defibrillator, and she's like, that doesn't happen. He's like, oh, maybe it was your kid. And she's like, oh, that's sexy. Blame my kid. He's like, I'm a good guy. And she's like, no good guy ever said that. I'm like,
I
shut
know,
up.
God. I
And
know.
then,
The
then-
dialogue's just like cliche after cliche in this show.
and then I still don't understand why every Sung makes an Asian daughter. It still makes no goddamn sense to me.
But names them after Greek mythology.
Why is
or at
that the
least-
same girl as last? Like, so we're to believe that Sung in 400 years is like, I'm going to build a robot daughter, and to honor my Nazi great great grandpappy, I'm going to make her look exactly like his test tube baby daughter.
Okay, I just want to say I brought this up last time and you shot me down. I said that, why does she look? It doesn't make any sense. And you're like, oh, well, it's a standard trope that people in the time travel that look.
No. No, don't
Well,
you say that.
here's-
No.
Hold on.
I said last time, I don't understand why the fuck she looks. It's the same girl. Because she's not the ancestor
Right.
unless he ends up fucking his test tube daughter to
This doesn't make
reproduce a
any
line of
sense.
Sung. I said it's a
He
trope
makes
that you look
Data,
like
who
your
looks like
ancestors.
Data. Why did he just have a Data? Why did he have like a twin brother? And it was Data, right? Why is it? I'm with you on this one. Why does it look like Sochi or whatever her name was?
No,
It didn't
I
make any
agree.
sense,
It's
'cause
ridiculous. I'm just like,
the android he makes winds up looking like Data.
Okay. Point of clarification, Warden. Seriously. I was on board with this. The Sochi thing makes no fucking sense to me because that's not her ancestor. It makes no sense that Sung would build a Sochi in the 24th century that looks exactly like the one that geneticists grew in the 21st century.
uh-huh.
I said the trope is that you look like your great granddaddy, your
Mhm.
great great granddaddy. So the Sungs, I
Okay.
kind of get.
Okay. Oh,
The Sochi thing, I mean, if you can explain it to me, then please do, because I
it makes no sense to me.
do not understand it at all.
Oh, I no.
It kind of felt to me like the Doomsday origin story where they just like kept getting him murdered again and again and again and just taking over like his tissue. 'Cause it's like, yeah, well, this one lasted a day. It's like, oh, well, we got about a month out of Persephone here. It was just, and, oh well. Also, how can you be that old, or actually, I guess I don't really know how old she is. She may not be that old. Um, and just now having researched like who your dad is or any of this
I
stuff,
know.
right?
I love that she broke into his super secret office and then just got on Google.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've never Googled your dad? Okay. I don't know why you had to go in here. And then she starts like looking at all the secret logs. Mm.
Okay. So I've developed a theory.
You've developed a theory.
Lay it on me.
I have a
Bring
feeling
me.
I know where they're going, and it makes me sad.
Hold that thought for just a second,
Okay.
because I'm about to pop.
Pop your bladder. Hello, Joe.
Okay. So we're back. Um
Warden, I want to hear your theory.
you may
Are we
not.
back?
Yeah, we're back.
No, we're back. Oh shit.
Jesus.
When is now?
All right. So they
You
have
just missed it.
That was then.
When?
No, past this.
Just now. All right, sorry. Spaceball comedy aside, Warden.
all right. So they've been hitting some things. They have been hitting a couple things over and over again. They keep flashing back to Picard and his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's the whole shit with Laris and how I mean, and it's ever since been very weird ever since they had the thing where, she wanted to have a relationship and he, the whole thing. And then you've got the whole thing has been start kicked off by Q. Okay. Now, Q gets into antics and that kind of thing, but he's never really like a megalomaniacal asshole in the sense that he like is willing to like obviously like murder millions of people and stuff like that. So his apparent behavior seems I'm just going to argue, to them they're making it seem like they feel this is out of the ordinary. Um so I'm wondering if the first thought and the thought I've had since they first put Q on the screen was, okay, he's obsessed with Picard, and this is another time where he is going to be doing something to change Picard. I mean, it's always been, The trial never ends. Okay. So, Picard, his mother, they're bringing in his more immediate, even further ancestor with this Renee chick. I'm wondering if they're not doing something because the obvious that something tragic happened with Picard, his mother, and so forth. I have this feeling like they're going to discover that there was something that scarred and traumatized Picard that he blames himself for something for.
Jesus Christ, Warden, your theory about the plot is just as confusing and convoluted as the plot.
Well, I mean, yeah. But so long story short, Picard feels guilty about something, and this whole thing is for Picard's benefit so that he can get over it, basically. That is my theory. And that
So
in the end,
Q
it's all
is
going to be
here to help
wrapped up in a
Picard
nice,
get
neat
laid?
little bow, and everybody's going to be happy again, and he's going to feel more like a healthy, whole person. And who knows, maybe he will be actually like interested in a woman or something. Who knows? I mean, it's just, yeah. I don't know why, but it just feels just trite enough to be right.
So this whole thing is to give Picard the courage to fuck Laris in the future.
Basically,
To help him get
So,
his snap back.
I don't want to be right.
speaking of Laris in the future and Laris in the past, I had to watch this with subtitles on because it was late at night. My wife was asleep.
Yeah.
Did you notice when he was talking to Laris at one point, she says something and it flashed up like speaking Romulan?
No, I did not notice that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, when they were at the bar texting, because it's fucking 2024 and everybody texts all the time. Even you can get a text your therapist. That seems a little fucked up, but whatever. Yeah, it flashes across speaks Romulan. So, Warden, maybe you're right. Maybe he's in the process of fucking her this entire season, and it's just like he's this is what Picard's mind does when he throws the D at somebody, and not the 1701D, because
It's
it is
ALPD.
ALPD. Oh fuck.
Yeah, I've been thinking all along that it's going to be something because it's modern Trek, so it's going to be something distressingly trite. Uh, or over the top. And since they don't seem to have anything that's a through line that's consistent, except for the fact that he keeps flashing back to his mother and the shit he's got with, having issues with Laris. Because everything else that's like top
I
level
really
plot
hope it's
line is a
not.
fever dream. As far as things happening in the story, it's all just like disjointed madness.
If this season is a fever dream, if they really got to the end and it's all a dream.
Oh
Although,
man,
I mean, it might as well fucking be, right?
uh,
Because it's all about this timeline that it's all about putting it
nobody
back to where
cares
it was
about.
at the
Yeah.
end. So, I mean, might as well be a dream.
Well, we just all have to get back to the point where Girardi comes through the space vagina as the Borg Queen and asks Picard for help. That's why she asked for Picard, because it's Girardi. And hopefully her cleavage, they made a special Borg Queen suit for cleavage, like Lursa and Bator.
So she's going to find a way to send him back
Mhm.
somehow, but she's going to have to stay and
Yeah.
be the Borg Queen for 400 years.
Mm-hmm.
And she
Yeah,
knows
seems
exactly
about
when
right.
Picard gets back. So that's why she wants help. She's gonna be the Borg Queen for 400 years, and then Picard's gonna come save her in the year 24, whenever. Is that
Yep.
what you're thinking?
Yep.
That's preposterous.
That's just crazy enough to work.
Man, you got to spend money to make money, Lou.
At which at which point the whole Q thing would have been totally irrelevant.
I think we're gonna get to the end of the season. There's gonna be a lot of things that were like that was completely irrelevant.
I mean, they obviously just didn't renew Elnor's contract. Like, I mean, why is he? They're doing the same thing, like, right? She's seeing like bits and pieces of him, right? So none of this makes any sense. But here's what
It's
I don't
almost
get:
like they thought, like, well, we need a reason to make Rafi act erratic. I'm like, she's a fucking drug addict. Like, her character is erratic.
well, here's what I don't get: if all the Borg Queen needed were some endorphins, why didn't she just make Gerard go finger blast herself in the bathroom or something, and then just come out and mission
Jesus.
accomplished? Like, why was that what she needed to have happen anyway? Like,
I mean, why
because
why does cortisol prevent assimilation?
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know.
Why
I think that would be counterproductive because
Yeah.
it's not like people are happy when they're getting
Right,
assimilated.
you don't think these fuckers are stressed to the max when the goddamn Borg shows up?
Well, what about the drones? They're probably pretty stressed. I mean, I would be.
Oh,
It's
God's sake.
so
So she
stupid.
has to have a public performance just to get the endorphins that she needs. Again, like, in my mind, there's just like a little meter over there, like on the side of the screen the whole episode, and it's like, "Oh, we got some endorphins, but not enough."
It's
It's like,
like just one long quick time event for the Borg Queen.
right. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that's how the episode ends with Girardi in the red dress, just
Doing the walk of shame. Yeah.
or the Borg Queen, the black-eyed Borg Queen doing the walk of whatever the fuck you want to call it. Just happy she got some legs now.
Yeah. It's just, I don't understand it. But Renee's gonna get on board the ship because apparently, even though this episode is only like 38 minutes. I don't know if you noticed. It was fantastic. Um, but so they were apparently at that thing for 15 hours or something. Fuck it. Because I feel like the timeline is a little hazy here. They're like, she's gonna go into quarantine in 15 hours, so we got to make sure she makes it through this party that apparently only lasted 38 minutes.
She can pound her liquor. I mean, she can handle her liquor because she was
Yeah,
pounding those
she
shots.
was.
I was
Yep.
like, I would be passed out by now. Anyway,
She's gonna be hung over in space.
I don't know. I guess now we got to do a fucking mind meld episode where we go into JLP's subconscious and
God.
cool. There's only like 4 episodes left in this season. I am really impressed that they're going to be able to pull it together in such a satisfying way because I know they will be.
This is gonna be like the episode of Scrubs when ABC bought them and the season just ends, and there was like there was nothing else.
I don't know.
Ugh. Well, you got my theory. We got Warden's theory. Joe Bob, where do you think they're taking this season?
I mean, I'm kind of. I don't know. I mean, I do think Girardi's going to end up being the Borg Queen for 400 years. Just waiting on Picard to get back and unassimilate her. I don't know how his mom and Laris tie into it. Maybe it's a Futurama thing where Picard ends up being his own grandmother, father, whatever.
I was actually going to talk about that earlier when you said you always look like your great granddaddy. I was like, it's kind of like that's. There's a good explanation of why Fry looked like his ancestors. But
I will say this: I have no idea where the subplot with Asung and Soshi is going. It's I don't know.
I think you hit the nail on the head last episode, which is Brent Spiner needed some work.
Yeah, but did Soshi need work? I mean, she probably does, but why do they give a fuck? I mean, I get that they want to help throw Spiner a bone, but anyway, the good for this was the Pat Benatar scene. That for
Well,
me.
and it doesn't make sense why Q had to enlist Nazi Data's help anyway. Like, why couldn't he have shown up to any of the security people there or anybody? Like, why did he have to get the benefactor there, the disgraced geneticist benefactor, bribe him with a potential cure for his,
Cause he
test tube
works in
baby?
mysterious ways, in ways your feeble mortal minds cannot possibly comprehend.
Apparently so.
Warden, give us your good.
I mean, thinking, um, there have to be one.
Yeah. Rios was cute. I
I mean,
thought.
yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm guessing you're not going with Girardi's cleavage for the good, so I'm
No.
trying to.
I mean,
Trying
yes,
to-
he's kind of that, Yeah.
He is the only one I would like to see in another episode, like in another series.
Mm-hmm.
I like Rios.
Cristobal.
Cristobal Rios. I hope he gets to bang the nice doctor lady too. I hope the final episode is like, you get a dick and you get a dick and everybody gets the dick. Except for Seven and Rafi, they get the,
They get the scissor.
right. I hope they scissor their way back to the future. Hope that baby hits 88 miles per hour.
Oh dear.
Oh my god.
Dear. Ooh.
Okay.
You think that's what he
So-
yelled? You think that's what Emmett Brown yelled when he climaxed? 88 miles per hour.
Right.
It worked.
God.
Great Scott.
Oh jeez.
The embryos. All right.
That
Speaking
went
of
someplace I never expected, but that was fantastic. Okay.
Oh my god. All right. Let's just leave Picard and
Okay.
go to Strange New Worlds.
You want to talk about Star Trek Pediaside?
Star Trek what? Pediaside? Oh yeah. So yeah, this is an episode about, it's really about family and, love lost and young love blossoming into okay, I don't know. What was the name of this? Oh, it was like Love Lift Us Up Where We Belong or some shit like that.
Lift us where suffering cannot.
Love lift us up where suffering cannot reach. Yeah, so this is a Star Trek episode. Pike meets up with an old girlfriend. There's a little mystery over who's trying to wipe the kiddo, and he gets invited to be part of the cult, and shit goes sideways. The end.
We got a tether and a tractor
Oh.
beam in this one.
Yeah. All right. I went through the synopsis very quickly, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
because I actually think this one is an interesting enough episode to talk about rather than
Yeah.
just give the
Mhm.
recap. Yeah, so
I have thoughts, but go ahead.
okay.
Well, let's hear him, Warden.
Yeah, I mean, give me your general impression of
I
of
want
the
you to, I
episode.
want you to go full manual and drive this ship for a while.
I mean, it sounded like you wanted to kind of go through it in detail, and I don't know if my thoughts go there, but I just feel okay. So the main A plot deal with Jake and old girlfriend and the whole story of this culture that apparently, in the end, you discover is entirely based on the suffering of a series of children.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I
thing
totally
that I mean,
missed that, but
so
that wasn't
Shut up,
obvious.
Willie. God damn it. Fuck. Ah,
so
Warden, please continue.
it's. I'm gonna 1 second, please.
You see what you did, Willie?
I did. I broke him.
You did.
Dogs. Okay, so the. Okay, so there's these people. Okay, so I want to list off first here that I thought this is definitely it still felt very much like a Star Trek episode. I liked that.
Agreed.
They do the thing where they take a very they do a very tell a very provocative story. Obviously, I mean when you're murdering children. The thing that bugs me about how they did this is that in my admittedly unimportant opinion, if you're going to tell a provocative story, take a stance, have a point. They never really do.
Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
you get to the end, Pike is aghast, but there's no real like what's her name gets to, say her culture's piece. He never rebuts it. It's like I'm like, no, we're not gonna say anything. Not gonna have a Pike speech about the sanctity. Or oh, okay.
Pike's rebuttal was to pull the old Lorca maneuver.
It totally did.
Coitus uninterruptus bemicus.
See, I actually kind of disagree with you, Warden, because I actually felt like, once again, writers these days can't leave anything up to, subtext, right? And they had to have her give her little aside about, well, it's the suffering of one. Your culture has poverty, and even though I'm pretty sure that by Star Trek time wasn't like Earth not like that anymore, but
Pretty much, yeah.
so she gets her whole like, how can you say that with all these people suffering, that us having one person suffer is worse? It is any different? I felt like, obviously the episode made you think, but again, because it's we're all too fucking dense to read in between the lines, they have to say it. So they came out and said it. So
But see, they never. That's my point. They never rebut that.
well,
And there's
I
no
actually liked.
response to that.
Well, but I actually liked the fact that Pike did fail, right? And kind of fucked it up. Kind of fucked it up, really, when you think about it, right? I
It's all
mean,
Pike's fault.
yeah, it's all Pike's fault. So, I mean, what could he say at that point? Like, it wasn't like he could give a Michael Burnham speech and rectify the situation. You know, he was just like, "No, fuck you guys, I'm out. I'm not putting up with this. This is bullshit," and leaves.
Well, it was all over and done with at that point.
Yeah. And I thought that part was kind of cool because not cool, but it was actually pretty interesting to see an episode just totally go south like that, and then that's it, right? Like nothing in Discovery ever ends on a bad note. We always pull it out of the doldrums, right? And it's so eye rolling, right? That there's no consequences, right? This one actually had consequences.
So this was my takeaway from the episode, was those uniforms don't do Pike any favors because he's jacked and you never would have known it under that uniform.
But sorry, Warren, I didn't mean to derail. continue with your thoughts.
Well, I mean, that was basically it. I mean, I just don't.
So
It
Warden,
wouldn't be the first time that they have a story in which, I mean, they've had stories where it didn't have a happy ending and things went south. There was still some a coda, something that where they said, you know what, you're getting away with this, fine, but this, that, and the other, and give words, give some sort of words or closure or something to conversation and or the episode, and it just kind of stops. I can see where you're saying, Willie, where it's like it's kind of cool where he's just like, okay, fuck y'all. And I mean, that's honestly that's probably more realistic. Talking about Star Trek, and normally these, at least the more, well, no, pretty much all of them. I mean, they almost always have something to say, and so it just felt kind of victory at the end. I don't know, but I thought it was good, and I was like, definitely like, damn, this thing's like heavy. I was not ready for an episode quite that heavy, but yeah.
well put, Warden. I feel like at the end of it, I wasn't as satisfied with it as I felt like I should be.
Mhm.
And I think you may have that's a good explanation for maybe why. Because I feel like it was it was a legitimate moral dilemma. I mean, it's the whole needs of the many needs of the few kind of thing, and yeah, it's terrible to make one child suffer, to force one child to suffer, but if it really is a hellacious planet without it, by forcing one child to suffer, you prevent the suffering of essentially every other child on the planet. So I, I kind of liked that they let that culture have its say, and I wish Pike had taken more of a stance. But at the same time, I agree with Willie that for me, what elevated it from a good episode to a very good episode was that it would have been extremely easy for Pike to have rescued the child and saved him, and then given a speech that convinced everybody on the planet that they were wrong for believing the way they did, and and the engineer come up with some sort of techno babble way to replicate the mind of a child, so that the planet can stay in paradise. And I think that would have been the easy way out, but he didn't save the kid.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even cause.
In fact,
Yeah.
I mean, and actually had a hand the entire episode in leading to that conclusion, right? Like he helped with the investigation. He
Yep.
found the
But
kid. I mean,
and not only did he not save the kid, he didn't change the people's minds at all.
right.
His old gal still believes exactly the same way she did. She still thinks that what they're doing is right. So them not doing that, I thought elevated the episode. But like you said, Warden, I would have liked to have heard Pike give maybe a little bit more of a Starfleet speech, Federation speech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Instead, he just, and what a mic drop moment. He didn't go out with a bang. He went out with a whimper. And you know, the crew found out. I don't remember if they found out exactly what was going on. I mean, I think it would have been more interesting if there had maybe been some discussion too amongst the crew. Like, this seems like the kind of thing that, you bring a Vulcan in for, and he points out that, well, what they're saying is logical, and maybe Una's like, yeah, shut the fuck up, Spock. What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that wouldn't be Una saying it. Maybe that would be
Soon.
Ortega, and Noon would probably be on board. Well, I don't know. She's got the traumatic history of being the only child survivor. It might be interesting to kind of flip it around and see what she thinks about a child being the only one suffering.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
feel like they elevated
why
the episode by not wrapping it up with a nice happy bow, but I feel like it's held back. There was a lot more potential that I felt like was unexplored.
But see, I think the fact that we're having this discussion is what made it a good episode, right? There were actually things we cared about and thought provoking things that happened instead of it just being the same lather, rinse, repeat bullshit that we've been getting for 4 seasons of Discovery and whatever the fuck Picard's doing. But and not even Star Trek. That's how every show is these days. It feels like, or at least every network show.
You make a very good point there. I will say, I mean, I don't begrudge them the unhappy ending. I'm not saying that it should have been happy. I just kind of wish that they, for me, ended it. I mean, they had something that, like we said already, that there was some sort of, Shakespearean summary at the end of, okay, so you guys had the people on that civilization got to say their piece. Nobody said the other piece, and that's kind of, I guess, where I'm coming from. I don't care if he didn't have to win, and it was actually very, like you said, it was actually very cool that he didn't, for various reasons, dramatic reasons, but I just, yeah.
All right, counterpoint. Maybe the ending is done somewhat intentionally to kind of put you in a position to empathize with Pike. Maybe that kind of hollow feeling at the end that there's so much wasted potential, and
Yeah.
you just kind of feel like you just took a gut punch.
Yeah, like I think if I
saw the way
witnessed
that Pike was sitting in his
just
ready room
been like,
drinking at the end,
fuck, yeah.
maybe it's intentionally designed to kind of give you that same feeling. Because I mean, I definitely felt like I was in the same boat with Pike at the end of that episode.
Yeah.
Well, and that's true. And the other thing is like, I guess he was in a situation where, well, and I already admitted this, he was definitely realistically in a situation where there's no answer to this. They've done it. It's over. And these people are not going to be convinced by anything I say. And yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's been a long time, and it's never happened previously with this era of Star Trek where I'm just like, damn.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, they showed the kid. Like, I mean, this was like showing the baby head in season 1 or 2 or whatever of Discovery, right? And they showed like the desiccated corpse of a kid, and the kid saw it, right? And he even had a pause there for a second,
yeah, I mean that just added to it.
Yeah.
His reticence.
It's like, well,
his
and that's
moment of pause. Yeah,
it's like, oh, maybe I don't. Oh, wait a second.
that's when I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna, that would have been the perfect cop out time.
Yep.
It went through with it, and the writers didn't let Pike stop it. I mean,
Didn't let the kid's dad be able to stop it, right? Despite everything he tried to do.
yeah, and then I guess the silver lining they gave us is maybe Dr. Bongo's daughter is going to be okay. Bingo. my bingo, my bongo, whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. I'll learn it
Oh dear.
at some point.
Actually, interesting. And I have to fully admit this, but wasn't obviously a major character. Dr. Mabenga is actually not an invention of Strange New World. He was in the original series.
Really?
Yes, he was one of the side doctors, showed up like 1 or 2 episodes. I mean, obviously McCoy was always the chief medical officer, but there's more than one doctor.
Because it's not Discovery.
Yeah, basically.
Sorry. Oh God, why can I not resist taking shots at Discovery?
Well,
Probably because it sucks.
They have shown other doctors on Discovery, giving them benefit of the doubt. They just, like all of the other characters on this show.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Well, that was an interesting actual Star Trek discussion we had about an actual Star Trek episode.
How about
that? I didn't think that ever happened again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was good.
I like this damn show.
Yeah, and I remember at the end, feeling like, look, we actually touched on morality of some kind, right? And didn't cheapen it. It was just kind of like, man, that was kind of fucked up, but I guess I see both sides of that coin, So,
Yeah, I always kind of felt like if I was going to show someone who had never watched Star Trek, point them toward a series, I would probably pick Deep Space Nine, or maybe I would say TNG, but skip like watch these 3 episodes in the first 2 seasons and then start.
Yeah.
I might go with Strange New Worlds now, though. I think that is the show to break a new Star Trek fan in on.
Because, especially nowadays, because it's newer and it has newer production values, it's more accessible.
Right.
Certainly for younger fans, somebody who's more our age, who's just never seen Star Trek, might be okay with still, because they grew up with just as cheesy. So
the problem about TNG is, as much as I love it, 26 episodes a season is too damn much, and it comes with some fucking filler.
Oh, well,
like you want to talk about romantic interests of the crew going wrong. You've got this one, then you've got I don't know, Sub Rosa. So there are a lot to skip, and Deep Space Nine is better, especially in the later seasons. Like there's not much you want to skip in the last 3 seasons of Deep Space Nine. But it took a couple seasons to get off the ground.
Yeah, well, and the other thing is that Star Trek, I mean, I don't know. Deep Space Nine is like advanced Star Trek, in my opinion. I mean, it doesn't give you a lot of grounding in what Star Trek is, because it actually bends the formula quite a bit. So, if it makes sense, it almost feels like, to understand how Deep Space Nine is exceptional, you need to see what quote unquote normal Star Trek is like first.
Maybe, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know. It still feels the most modern. It feels thoroughly modern to me. It feels more modern than Discovery and really Picard, and more relevant.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the point you could also make is that Deep Space Nine is just a damn good show.
Yeah. But like I said, I would recommend Strange New Worlds. Like trying to get my kids to watch Star Trek, I'm like, sit down and watch Strange New Worlds with me. And they're like, no, I want to watch YouTube. And I'm like, you fuckers.
I do wonder though, because it seems to be getting worse. What is this show's budget for Anson Mount's hair product?
Oh man.
That helmet does not move, and it's getting higher.
I know. I said something about it in the first episode. He's only been raising the bar. He's like, I'll pay for my own products this episode if you let me show these guns off. I was like, oh my.
It sounds like that I'm not the only one that was a fun scene for then.
I mean, I'm admiring his handiwork, Hey. We got Girardi in one episode and Pike in the other. So
something for everyone.
That's right. There's something for everybody. Oh my god. Okay, so Warden, you want to give me your pick for the good, the bad, and the hubris this week?
I mean, okay, yeah, that's actually pretty straightforward. Strange New Worlds is the good. Until when I was sitting down, I wasn't to record this episode. I wasn't sure of that, but listening to you guys convinced me. And yes, so that is definitely the good. I'm gonna call Discovery the hubris, simply because I have to call Picard the bad, because that was just bad.
Fair enough. Willie?
I'm gonna agree with my friend Warden here. I think he summed it up pretty well.
Okay,
and I'm still giving Disco the hubris because I believe that they think that they are just being groundbreaking and revolutionary in the depth and complexity of what they're doing, and it's just bad, right? But Picard is just bad because it's doesn't make any sense, Whereas I feel like Discovery is it's hubris, right? It's the definition of hubris, right? It's probably that they think they're just a cut above the rest.
I'm gonna disagree slightly. I'm gonna say that Discovery is the bad this week.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, if it was the good, the mediocre, and the hubris, I think that it would be much more clear for me. I'm not, Discovery. This wasn't a bad Discovery episode, but it's still probably the worst of the three. Picard, and maybe it's not fair to call this hubris just yet, because maybe they fucking knock it out of the park down the stretch. But I just do not see how they are going to tie all this shit up in a bow in a way that doesn't make me go, that is absolutely fucking inane. If they do, I guess I'll come back and I'll reassign my good, bad, and hubris for week 6. But
it's like they're sitting in the writing room and they're like, guys, are we going to be able to pull this off? And they said, who the fuck cares? These people are going to watch it anyway. It's called Picard.
I almost feel like their storyboarding for the year is a Rorschach test. They just threw ink blots up for each episode and brought in a different writer and said, well, what do you see for this episode? He's like, heist episode, psychological thriller, action episode. I really don't know.
I feel I'm increasingly of the opinion that it's going to be some mental. There is not going to be anything profound. So that might be why I'm already ready to call it bad, because I know where I have a feeling I know where they're going, and it's just going to be one disappointment.
I'm gonna have to hand it to him. If it turns out that this whole season was in JLP's head, they got balls. Because that
Yeah,
is our
that's
big
PDE.
middle finger to everyone that watches this show.
Yeah, I don't think it's in his head. I don't. I would almost be better if it.
We're gonna zoom out, and he's just gonna be sitting there. Laris is laying on his chest, and he's like smoking a little thin European cigarette the whole time.
Breaking out his fake French accent.
Oh man.
He's like, I gotta go.
And then it's gonna zoom out, and it's gonna all have happened inside Tilly's fucking snow globe. Oh, all right. Let me ask you guys this one:
Okay.
Is this episode of Strange New Worlds? Is it the best one of the season?
Well,
I was really struggling with that. Like, is this one that's worth talking about with other like really good Star Trek episodes, not just Strange New Worlds, not just.
yeah,
I
I
don't remember
think
their other episodes.
I would have to. I would have to probably see it again to be sure. I think it's fair to put it in. Yeah,
It's
you
not
could
top
see.
5 of Star Trek,
No, it's not top 5 of all
Not
Star
but
Trek,
top five,
it's
no.
but it's
But
it's one you could pull and say like, well, has Strange New Worlds done anything like this? You can say, yeah, you remember that episode with the little kids, right?
yeah, I think I mean, it's definitely in that top tier of thought provoking, good episodes, but where it fits in the top tier, I'm not sure. But it definitely it's definitely one of the ones where it made you feel shit, like legitimately.
Uh, I'm trying to remember the rest of the season. I don't remember it well enough to say if it was the best one of the season, but it was the most thought provoking.
well, we had
So it depends
let's
on
see,
what you just
we
find as
st-
best.
we started off with rescuing Una in a first contact mission. Then I think we had Uhura going to talk to the cocoon that
Mm-hmm.
was the great Babatu, and she spoke its language with music.
Right.
And we had the one, let's see, the one last week was really fun with the Enterprise bingo and the
Mhm.
shore leave shenanigans.
The submarine warfare one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the run silent, run deep, and then the Iconians, stranded on the planet where the people turned into the energy beings.
Mm-hmm.
That's 5. So that's 5 right there. So that's the season up to. I think that was
It,
5.
it definitely. I
Wait a
mean,
minute.
a lot of the episodes in this of the season so far had a very. It had a very original series kind of texture,
Uh huh.
and this is the first one that's felt very next gen, sort of a little bit more sophisticated with how they approached some of it. Hey, maybe even a little beyond that. Um,
Yeah. Uh, I mean, I could see. I think it falls a little shorter just because there's not the reveal comes so late in the episode
mhm.
that it doesn't leave enough time for that sort of TNG style
Eight.
debate
Yeah.
throughout. Like when I think about like the drumhead,
Mhm.
it's discussion about it throughout the whole episode.
Mhm.
There's no burying the lead. There's no reveal moment. or the measure of a man. Like
Mhm.
up front, we're discussing Data's um, uh, status as a life form.
Maybe that's what was. It's not so much that it just ended. It's that, well, it is, but you never really. It's not so much that it even that. Yeah, yeah, that you never really got. There never was a debate. It just, there was this episode that
Yeah.
felt like cute episode, all cute-ish episode, and the kid was precocious, and oh, maybe there's going to be a subplot where they do help, well, which they do, but help the doctor's daughter and this, that, and the other, and hijinks of that sort, and then all of a sudden, it toward the end just takes a turn and goes dark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you obviously knew something dark was happening, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Just
I was thinking might be some sort of sacrifice, but I
yeah,
did like the way at least they weren't like throwing him into a fucking volcano. At least it was
right.
like, we don't understand how this works. All we know is like it takes a child's brain to use it, and we all know it. There's no secret, and we all have to live with it and kind of bear that burden that everything we're doing is built on the back of a child suffering.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty neat premise. And I kind of would have liked for that to have been the reveal earlier in the episode. But
And in a different era, they
You
would
think,
have done that too, because they're.
yeah.
I mean, I think a little bit of the modern TV's thing
Well, and
that's in this
also
episode is that they give you the stinger. They want you to just
Mhm.
hit you with it and then leave you with it. Whereas they would have definitely like played with the idea, and but I don't know
Yeah.
if you could have done this one honestly in an earlier era, because I mean, talking about killing kids already feels a little touchy now.
Mhm.
Can you imagine
Right. Yeah. Usually child murder is the third rail.
it? Pretty much. Um,
Yeah. Although, yeah. I mean, obviously the episode had some issues, right? I mean, if the dad knew what they were going to do to his son and didn't want to do it, like, just fucking when when it was just the two of them on the ship, be like, "Get us the fuck out of here! This is what's going on," you know.
Let's see.
But they did talk about a little bit that he was
He
like,
didn't talk about, it would have been that's another reason why I feel like the reveal should have come earlier, because then he could have talked about his dilemma instead of it being a mystery and him never really getting to talk about it.
mhm,
right.
I don't know.
mhm,
But like I said, it wasn't perfect, but
mhm.
you know, like it was real cryptic at the beginning where we found the coin, we found the neural dampener. Um, they even said like they're like this is the size of a child's head. Like something's fucking going on here, and we should probably hang on. Well, I guess the transport thing was kind of a surprise to everybody, but maybe they were trying to hold on to the kid. But anyway,
All right.
overall though, thought it was a good episode. Thought it showed a lot of promise, and it kind of you know danced up to that line of morality that I think Star Trek historically was able to do, but has not done for a while.
Mhm. Right.
Well, because normally they aren't. I guess this is one thing that I disagree with you a little bit on, Morton, is that normally they don't trust the audience enough to take a stance. We kind of talked about it, but you said take a stance. I mean, I feel like it was pretty obvious how Pike felt, but I mean, we kind of talked about that. I don't want to go back into it. But,
Yeah, I probably just didn't at that point wasn't expressing myself well. Yeah.
yeah. So I like that they trusted the audience enough to just you know deal with it kind of like Pike had to deal with it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, a pretty good week. I mean, we're falling into a pattern of just trying to make it through Discovery, and I'm losing faith in Picard. But Strange New Worlds pretty much delivers. I'm afraid there's going to be one week where it's just a bad Strange New Worlds episode, and it's just miserable all around. I don't feel like the other two are going to pick up the slack.
Almost feels like they have to. I'm almost going to get, if we get through an entire season of Strange New Worlds without having one episode that was at least kind of I'm almost gonna be like angry because I'm like, why can they do it here?
Well, that actually could be like bracketing, right? Like we're watching such bad episodes every week to go with it. Maybe we got rose-colored goggles on. But maybe the worst episode of the season we're gonna praise as being like cinematic gold.
This is why it is so important for fat fucks sitting behind their keyboard to bitch and moan about shows like Star Trek Discovery. Because somebody's gonna be like, all right, god damn it, you want episodic content? You want something that feels Star Trekky? Here, Strange New fucking Worlds. Go, jerk off to your Gorn memorabilia and watch this shit.
And we will.
And we will. All right. Next week, I don't know what we got, but it'll be it'll be 2 episodes of Discovery, 1 of Picard, and 1 Strange New Worlds.
Yes.
I don't know what they're called. I don't know that I guess I could look it up.
I got
you. Know what? I'm gonna be surprised.
Okay.
It's gonna go.
We can have it PM.
It's gonna go well. We're gonna get 3 good episodes.
We're gonna watch 4.
And we're gonna get 3 good ones. No, I'm sorry. we're gonna get 4 good episodes. I have faith. All right.
I thought you were just like hedging. I didn't.
Yeah, I thought he'd already ruled Picard out.
Picard's a fever dream. I got a fever. The only prescription is more Strange New Worlds. No, I got a fever. I need more Pat Benatar.
Oh, that was just.
Video was.
I know you enjoyed that scene, but when she just busted out singing, I was like, "What the fuck?"
It was so goddamn random too.
Yeah.
I was like, "Is this this is the song Girardi knows and chooses to sing? Like this is what?" And and the fancy pants, cello and brass band are just like, "Oh yeah, we know this one. We're huge Pat Benatar fans." I mean, man, fuck it, maybe they are, but like I don't know. I don't think you can walk into the random orchestra in 2024 and say, "Hey, play that Pat Benatar song." And your thing. Maybe I don't know.
That the more you overthink that, the more it's just like it's bizarre.
It really is.
Somebody from the 24th century, that is the song that they pulled.
I think the truth is that someone from the 21st century really liked that fucking song. It's like, this is what Girardi's gonna sing. Does it make any goddamn sense? No.
Either that or they did a Google search of the lyrics and found that as the song that matched the theme that they wanted to have in the episode. Somehow.
They should find the director for the video of that song.
Oh my god. Thank you for showing that to me.
She kind of goes back in time too, into a alternate reality, and
I mean she's at the beginning of the music video, she's a Rosie to River. Back in time.
Okay, but I couldn't tell if that was that. Yeah, maybe she is supposed to be already in the period piece. I don't know. Better direction than Picard. Just gonna say it. If you haven't seen the video to Pat Benatar's Shadows of the Night, go fucking watch it. That's all I got to say.
That was a treat. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
You are most welcome, gentlemen. All right. That's it for another week of sheer fucking hubris. Warden, snapped your fingers. Take us out.
Okay.
Show us your guns.
Wow. This is Biblio Warden. Joe Bob and Mr. Willie signing off.